Hey, it's Christina. I'm not even going to bother today with the pretense that this is going to be short, or that it's going to have a point. I'm just gonna, I'm about to ramble for 10 minutes, like pretty much like usual. Um, it's December. It's December, and I'm thinking about how somewhere around this time, it was definitely this month, last year, I wrote down the first words for Reese from Getting Schooled. And Reese joined the likes of Bianca Bailey and Nuvia Perry and Cole Richardson um, as one of my favorite heroines that I've written. Just this group of difficult women that really spoke to me as both as a writer and as a woman. Um, I I found myself with the release of Bending the Rules. I found myself getting a little frustrated with some of the feedback that I got, because a lot of people thought that because Justin was a writer, they thought that I was Justin. And yeah, there are absolutely parts, parts of Justin and parts of his thoughts that are informed by me and by my experience in publishing. But Justin is absolutely not me. If you're looking for hallmarks of me, it'll be I don't think that it'll be in the characters that you think the hallmarks of me are. Like I said, it would be more of a Reese, a Bianca, a Nicole, a Nubia. Those are more the women and the senses of humor that are a little more Christina, especially than a Justin. um, and don't do that. Don't do that. Writers are not their characters. Especially not Justin. Not Justin. I love Justin, but Christina, I am not Justin. But anyway, and I was having like a little moment with myself. That sounded that was a very, I guess that's what she said, type of moment. But anyway, you see what I mean? I ramble. But I was having a moment where I was just thinking about the vast difference between when I started out with Getting Schooled, and the three brothers, the Wright brothers, when that came to me, and I decided, okay, this is going to be campy, and this is going to be fun, and it's not about, proving any points or anything like that. This is just for me to have fun. It's supposed to be lighthearted. It's supposed to be funny, and that was supposed to be kind of the hallmark of the whole series. Like, it's going to be tropey, and it's going to be campy and just fun. And I think about how by the time I got to the last book in the series with Bending the Rules, that book followed a book that I think was still lighthearted, but was not intended to be, campy or silly. It was just the truth. The book that was before Bending the Rules. The truth is, in my opinion, my best work. Um, and it was hard for me to I'm trying to figure out how to say this without it sounding really, really bad. But it was hard for me to keep bending the rules in its lane instead of following the lane that I carved out for myself with the truth, with the as far as a certain level of depth and a certain level of character development. Like, I had to kind of reel myself in, because the first, because first of all, Bending the Rules, it was already longer than the other two books, like significantly longer than the other two books. And I feel like if I had not, if I had written it before I wrote The Truth, I don't think that that would have been the case. But I was still in that particular. You guys hear my stomach growling? Oh my god. But I was still in that particular I don't want to say I was in that mindset of The Truth, because I don't think that the two books have the same vibe, but I was still I don't know how to say this. I probably should have like practiced or something before I hit the record button, but I had to tone myself down and tell myself, no, Justin and Toni, their book, it needs to have the same it needs to have the same vibe as the other two books in its series. And I don't mean to make that sound like it was some big difficulty, because it wasn't like that. But I did have to find myself reminding myself, like, no, don't go there, or don't follow that thread too deeply, because you're taking the whole project somewhere that it doesn't need to be. Finish what you set out to accomplish so that you can move on and put this level of of everything into the next project. And I'm thinking about how by the time I finished those two books, by the time I finished The Truth and Bending the Rules, I really felt like my straight up, feel good, warm contemporary romance. Like, I felt like I had like drained that I felt like I had drained my storage in those. And so it's just been, I'm trying not to sound fake deep, guys, but it's just been it's been kind of bittersweet for me. That's still not the right word, but I think y'all know where I'm trying to go with it. It's been kind of bittersweet for me to think about how this time last year, how what I was about to start writing, or what I was writing, was so much different than what I'm writing now. Almost like polar opposite. What I'm working on now is Ante Up, and it's Ante Up. No. Oh my God. Every time I say it, that comes in my head. But it's darker and it's grittier. I don't think it's dark. I don't want to tell the lie that it's darker than anything that I've done, because the Catch Me If You Can series exists. And that was a lot. That was a lot. And that's another difficulty that I'm having with trying to bring this project to fruition, is that I don't want to be one note. Like, I don't want everything that I do to hit the same chords. And when you're working in romantic suspense, there's certain hallmarks of that particular genre that you need to hit, but I also want I want it to be distinctive at the same time. And so it's and I'm all over the place. I'm really all over the place. But Ante Up, it's darker, and it's grittier, and it's a lot more of a sensual vibe. I don't know that it's gonna quite be erotica, but I marketed mine tonight as erotica, and I mean, I think that it'll be kind of along the same vein as that. But I started writing that back in February, and February of 2016, and I got a pretty decent amount of words, probably about a third or a quarter of what the book is going to be by the time that I'm done with it. And I put it down because it was too dark. It was too, I think, what did I just finished? I think I had just finished Inevitable Seductions, which was Nubia's story, and there was such a heaviness there that I felt like I needed to kind of pull myself up, and I needed something a little more fun, a little more warm. And I think that the next thing after that was what, Pulling Doubles. But I needed something different. And so I put this story down, and now that I'm back to it, it's not that it feels too dark for me, because that's kind of what I'm looking for right now. I'm looking to, I was looking for something different. These are the characters that wave their hands like, hey, remember us? So it's not that, it's just a point of not letting those little fears or whatever overtake me. And I sent what I had to a really, really good friend of mine, and she pulled privileges on me and told me that this had to be my next project. So even if I hadn't been, even if the characters, hadn't been tugging at me to do it anyway, it was like, yes, you need to do this, because I had been complaining, I guess, about, not really complaining, but it goes back to what I was saying about feeling like my contemporary romance, like my storehouse was emptied, and I needed to do something different. I needed to do something else. But it's like, on the same token, when it's something that you've not done before, there's a certain level of fear involved with that, not even necessarily of how it will be received, because I have an amazing reader base, and I think that I'll be embraced, even with a change. It's just a fear of, I want to get this right. I want to get this right. I don't want to, put all this effort into something and then, it's trash. Like, you don't want, that's not the outcome that you want. But after I sent it to her, and I'm beating her down with all of this, and she tells me, Christina, shut up and let them do, what they want to do. And so I have to kind of like shut up and let them do what they want to do. But it's hard. And I think that part of that, is, being a Black author, writing Black romance, because it's like you kind of get into a certain, I don't want to say box. I feel like it's more of a comfort zone, that it's a comfort zone as a reader and a comfort zone as an author. This is something that I talked about on the podcast before, how I see Black romance readers, not readers of Black romance, Black readers, talking about how they have to, and I'm going to say step outside of the genre, as if they can only read Black romance. They can read whatever they want to. But I see readers saying that they can't find these certain things, these certain subgenres within Black romance, and they want them within Black romance. And so it just says to me, not just as a reader, but not just as an author, but as a reader too, that there's a certain box that we have to step outside of, because I believe that Black romance authors, I believe that we can do anything. I believe that we can write anything and excel at it. But I think that there are certain places, just kind of as a cultural thing, there are certain places that we kind of don't go, but there's a desire to see those stories still. And so I have to, with this project, let my imagination take me to that place that's a little darker, that's a little grittier, that's a little more of a gray area than I may have normally wanted to take myself, and an area that's further than my readers maybe would have normally gone. And hopefully, you guys will rock with me, and not just me, because like I said, I have a broad readership, and you guys are amazingly supportive. And so I'm not really concerned about that. I'm concerned about letting you down, but I'm not concerned about you giving me a chance. But the thing is, it's not just me. You know, we have to, I'm not the only, you know, it's not just me. I'm not the only one. Like, we have to give like our new and up and coming authors a chance, because I mean, I'm a big proponent of us publishing our own, but it has to be supported, you know, in order to thrive and in order to keep doing it, it has to be supported. And that goes into Girl Have You Read, and into what we're going to do in Houston in April of 2017 with the Girl Have You Met, trying to connect readers with authors so that we can interface on a, you know, on a up close and personal real life level, so that we see each other, and so that we're able to not necessarily relate to each other, but, you know, putting a face with a name, and seeing that we're, you know, seeing that we're real people, and seeing that support up close, and not just, you know, not just for the authors to see the support up close, but for the readers, you know, to see up close that we're listening, and all of that. And I've rambled. I just looked at this time, and I've rambled for 16 minutes, and I haven't made a point. And I gotta go get my kids. So I am going to go ahead and let this go. If you have any thoughts or questions or whatever, feel free to hit me up. I'm going to try to start doing this more often so that I don't ramble for now 16 minutes. But yeah, questions and all of that good stuff, I'll answer them. But anyway, I really do have to go get my kids. So bye.